be done.
Oh, is this the Crit Files? Or
I don't think so. You haven't called it
We
yet.
haven't introduced
Guys, we are rolling deep in the Crit Files. Welcome aboard.
We've been in
This
it.
is a candid Crit File photography session. I am Rhett.
I'm Alex.
Do we need to do this?
I don't think we normally do this for Crit Files.
We do today.
This is Milo.
No!
This is Dash and Caleb. I'm both.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
My fantasy has come true.
And you're no one.
I'm,
so that sucks.
Yeah,
man.
I'm empty
Disembodied
space.
Ghost.
I'm empty space.
Yeah, we don't normally do the voices. Sorry. Anyway, welcome to the Crit Files. We're talking about our game, A Quiet Year, which is sort of building up from the ground our adventuring starting point.
Our little map is starting to really fill up.
Yeah. And there, I know Alex is going to have his own stuff for us to do, but I feel like there's so much to explore in here already.
I know. We've been doing this, and I'm like, boy, how much do I want him to leave this place?
And how much of this time it felt like things were so much more interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
We were building off of each other's ideas so much more,
Yeah.
playing off of the things that interested us. Whereas last time I was like, well, I guess we'll do this. Well, and there were some connected things, but
Yeah.
it felt more like we were still finding our footing. And maybe that's just the nature of spring, the questions and the prompts that are in
yeah,
spring.
it could be the game design specifically.
Because a lot of
Yeah.
these felt very like thematic. Like there was a lot of people coming to town, a lot of things falling apart.
Yeah, bad stuff happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff too, where it's just like it's asking you a question, like what's happening, and you kind of already know some of the answers. Like some of the times we hit questions,
Yeah.
like we kind of know what's happening.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
need to add
Obviously,
to it.
this is the question we're being asked because this is how
Yeah.
the story is going.
And it was
up
interesting.
until this point.
It was interesting, at least from my perspective, because it really felt as though the Temple of Melora was a focal thing that was very explicit from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think we had a couple little prompts in spring that tied into it, but I didn't connect with it personally at all. And here I was like, oh, the religion, this is interesting. Oh, and not only is it not just taking over the religion, he's more religious than they are. Like,
Yeah.
I was interesting, like, it was there, but I just connected with it a little bit more
That's
this time.
interesting.
I think
about.
that's the power of some of those questions. Like I think your ears perked up when I was asking, do they succeed?
Right.
And you were like, oh, I could say yes to that question.
Yeah.
I could say that they do succeed.
And I, like, that was the thing. Like, I jumped on that because my first instinct was like, no. Then I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
It makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
Right. What's the worst that's going to happen? We have a cooler thing at the end of it,
Rather than keeping status quo,
Right.
it's always fun to shake things up
Exactly.
narrative-wise because it always provides new challenges.
I would agree with that. I like the fact that this game, you can pick a yes or a no, and this game will still be fun. It will still create something interesting
Yeah.
because we've got 5 different brains thinking about the same thing.
Yeah.
Different ways.
And what's fun is, like, somebody goes, oh, well, a shipwreck comes in. And somebody else goes, oh, well, there's materials on there. And somebody else goes, oh, there's a person in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bubbles.
Yeah, and bubbles.
And
in
That's
there.
right, the bubbles. And then the bubbles moved.
And then the bubbles broke stuff?
Yeah, they broke the project that the one that was shipwrecked from there.
Yeah.
And the person that was on the shipwreck had the bubbles that destroyed. I wonder
Can
if
I
the bubbles were something.
Right? Yes. Can we metagame
What are the
about this for a
bubbles?
This
second?
boat was containing the bubbles, and
Yeah.
now
Well, no, the bubbles is like a creature.
Yes,
that
bubbles
was on
are
the
free.
ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was. I
It was on
wanted-
the ship with Alistair, and it's like Alistair's like nemesis.
I
the
was
bubbles
totally
are
thinking
bounty hunting Alistair.
the bubbles are like a Lovecraftian monster who were like imprisoning or like taking hold of Alistair, and he broke free, and now
Yeah.
the bubbles are after him, but they can't leave the water.
Yeah. Oh.
And then Alistair disappears.
Yeah, the
And I
bubbles.
do love that
Mysterious
it's disappeared. Like if it was like they got killed or something, I
Yeah.
don't think I would have
Yeah.
went that way.
Not only
But mysterious circumstances.
The bubbles can't leave the water, and he went to a water.
Right.
And the bubbles got him, dude.
Maybe they got him.
Oh,
they finally
shit,
got him back.
dude. Do we even need this game? Let's do freaking fall right now, guys.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
But talking earlier about the creating this town, and then we're gonna play D&D in it. I've been thinking since spring. I want to really use this to tell the story that we're going to make. Everything should just kind of wrap back around into what we're doing now, because this is just, especially with what we just did, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
So deep of a story that we're all going to know by the end of it.
I think it was interesting. I'd been thinking like most of the day to day, like, well, what would be cool, like that I could like add to the world and stuff. And like some of the stuff that we all came up with together was some of those things. Like I wanted to like start some agriculture, and that was like the first thing Caleb did. And I had the idea for like a shipwreck that came on ground and had a bunch of money. And I was like, here's just this influx of cash. And both of those things happened just at different times in different ways.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely thought of the most like grounded, boring stuff this time. I thought of walls and cops.
Yeah.
But you know
That's what I established.
I don't
we
think
need
that's
those.
that boring because nobody else came up with it. You know what I mean?
And yeah, there's so much story that can come around a town guard.
Yeah.
Because what's fun
True,
about the
yeah.
town guard is that it brings conflict in and of itself.
Yeah.
Because the
Right.
guard's
You
whole
immediately
purpose is,
have resistance. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so that's an interesting thing that you can inject into the world where.
Something to clash with.
Right. Exactly.
Especially if you have like a considerably like religious
Yeah.
town, and then you have the guards who are just who are doing their jobs, and it's there's this conflict because they like. I feel like there's a lot of citizens who live by a very religious code of laws and ethics that are different than like the lay of the actual laws
Yeah.
in the town. So there's probably a lot of like headbutting that goes on there, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I can
Because
see
there's
that.
been a lot of changes that have happened in the
Yeah.
power structures of this town already.
Yeah, that's true.
There's-
Yeah, with Alistair taking over, that's
Exactly.
creates
I-
some huge conflict.
And
Yeah,
now
I
he's
love-
gone.
I love
Yeah.
that because I thought the interesting thing with creating this together was going to be how does the town outside of the temple interact with the temple? How do those things clash? Because the temple's been here for such a long time, and the city's going to grow, and they're going to be new. But when Alistair came by, it was like, oh, this temple might not be as strong as I thought it was. The whatever's going on there, all these people are seeing like, oh, this thing is definitely fallible. This temple here, we need to keep an eye on it. I thought that was such a neat turn with Summer.
And I was just going to say, too, like, what, just as a side thought, like, about the way we're introducing things, even somebody was talking about introducing the forest outpost, and my first thought was, like, we were talking about, like, well, that's just going to be where extra guards go. And I was like, well, what if it wasn't just, like, what if it was, like, another school of guards? They're, like, the ranger guard post.
Oh, for sure.
And all of a
That's
sudden-
immediately what I was thinking.
And now you
Yeah.
have conflict, too, between, like, hey, you're in my jurisdiction.
Yeah.
It made me think of, like...
That's cool. I like that. Yeah,
it was-
yeah.
and so...
Rangers. Yeah.
So...
You
That's cool.
city guards wouldn't get 5 steps in this forest without us.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's owl bears out here, dude. Shit,
You don't know what we do out here.
I one time had to like gut a pig and like sleep in it. I don't know why. It's the middle of summer, but
It got so hot in there.
It was the only pig we had, too.
You ever wipe your ass with your own hand? No, of course.
yeah, you're a city slicker. You got that toilet paper.
They're like, why don't you just use a leaf? They're like, I didn't think of that. I'll be honest.
Do you see any leaves around? Oh.
Have you ever tried to reach for a leaf when you're shitting yourself?
It's hard. It's difficult.
It's only berries out here. You're shitting yourself all the time.
Jerry poisoned himself wiping his ass with a berry leaf.
and then he
Where to bury him?
I didn't know you could get poisoned like
He
that.
got ass poison. You want to die from ass poison? I don't think so.
you couldn't fucking cut it out here. And fucking ranger
With ass poison.
ranger station.
I gotta note this down. All the guards have this accent.
They all come from a very specific region of Haven.
You got owl bears and ass poison.
Oh, boy.
Anyways.
Going back to what you said, Alex, I am really excited about all these different sort of kind of religious and magical conflicts that could potentially happen because of all the different people groups we have. We've got guards, we've got the religious folk, the Alistair loyalists, and who knows, maybe there's...
Yeah.
And we have an adventurer.
And confused old man.
Give you something. Yeah.
I have a question. Is all of this stuff we're establishing with the town happening before our characters are born?
What I'm thinking is your characters are either just being born around this time, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little later.
Would they have memories of the quiet year?
I think maybe, absolutely. Not coming of age memories, but this is,
Our
the
childhood.
story. These are all the stories that they heard growing up.
They're
I think is
9/11.
what it is. If we want to change that, if you guys are thinking differently, we can absolutely, before we get started, change that. But that's where my head is.
I guess
Okay.
it depends on if we want to play young people or old people.
Okay. Well, I had like a couple ideas, some things to introduce that I went, oh, that would work well with my character. But again, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on the town. But
like I was saying, if there's stuff you want to introduce, we'll introduce that into the world. Because that's
for sure.
how that's how the backstories work. This is just like, here's a whole soup that the backstories can kind of come
right.
from.
Yeah.
And once we get this soup ready, you can throw more.
Because
shit
there's
in
a
there.
lot easily that you could make your character like you with
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, my dad's definitely one of those travelers that came in and infused a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's exciting about it is like, I mean, there was a lot even after spring, and then you go through summer, and it's like there's 1,000 individual stories to tell here now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What a good game.
Yeah,
What
I'm
an
really
amazing
excited
game.
for the next season because it does seem to ratchet up each season, like the kind of the conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in A Quiet Year, it ends when the whatever people come.
The Winter King.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But is that going to be like, is it just end for us, or is there going to be some sort of thing like that too? Or is that too spoilery? I mean, I don't know. People
Yeah.
have access to the book.
Yeah, the Frost Shepherd arrives. The game is over. I think that's just more a kind of metaphorical ending. Something is happening that is.
It's not like a comic
dire.
destroys the town we just spent a year building.
Yeah. But no, I mean, at the end of it, I think we'll find something to kind of put a bow on the end of it.
Okay.
Nice.
But we know that we're years are going to pass and we're going to go forward in the town after that because
Cool.
that's where the campaign will take us.
Rock and roll.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we got a lot done, right?
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
good.
I think so. It
Crit
feels really
files.
good. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do a discussion to close this out. I think that,
Can we do statements instead?
yeah, I'm making a statement right now. Okay.
Was that it?
Alex?
Was that it?
That was a statement. Closing statements. I think that Alistair is taken by the bubble goo people thing.
I think the adventurer had something to do with Alistair's disappearance. That's what I'm
Ooh,
thinking.
that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It is suspicious timing. I want to know what's going on with the bubbles. Does it taste good?
That's a question.
No, it's like a rhetorical question.
He's telling you that he wants to know what's going on with the bubbles.
Gotcha.
A statement
Are
of
you
fact.
familiar
He
with
is
rhetorical
curious.
questions? Probably not.
Never heard of him. It's only my first name.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, that's mine. I want to taste the bubbles.
Yeah, I believe that the City Watch is probably super corrupt
Yeah, with ass poison.
with ass poison.
Oh no, that's the Rangers.
There's a civil war going.
The Rangers
there's
aren't
a
corrupt. Rangers
city
are,
war between the City Watch
Troopers.
and the Rangers.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go, dude. It's the fucking House of Dragons all over.
It's House of Dragons.
I think everyone in this town would love to have their own housing. Because they've been living in a long
Who are you
house
trying to get
together.
away from, Milo? Come on.
True.
For
You know
so
what? You know
long.
what? On scarcities, I'm going to put housing right now.
Yeah,
Because
That's
we do
good.
not have any
yeah.
scarcities.
Yeah, I noticed we don't have any actual houses here.
Yeah, there's just the two long cabins.
And we keep building other stuff.
and
One of the-
it's just I just couldn't imagine a whole city living
and the
in two
cities
long
are like,
houses.
can we have our own houses?
We've got a post
One of them's
office.
for the
We've got
religious people, and the other one is for everyone else.
You guys redid the old town hall to store some corn. Only some. A family could live there.
They could be called the cornholers.
Well, we got to have the internet cafe somewhere, though.
Right, yeah.
All
All
right,
right, guys.
cool.
Well, thanks so much. This has been our Crit Files following up on summer from our introductory A Quiet Year for Season 2. We will catch you on Monday with The Fall. Hope to see you there. Grab your sword and keep on adventuring.